What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you, Madden 19. Big discussion today, especially on Twitter, about lurking, and I wanted to just talk about it for a little bit and get your guys' feedback, because to me, lurking is actually one of the worst things that's ever happened to Madden. So let's start by understanding Madden is a game of animations, and what some people have found is that if you are lurking and you're holding the interception button, you can predispose yourself to the library of animations for interceptions and have a greater probability of getting them. So basically, that concept is stating when you're on the field and you're running around, the game is not looking for any input from you other than your player movement. But once you can get in a position to intercept a pass, if you're holding down that button, then the computer will essentially time it to the perfect point where it knows that you have that input on at the exact moment it's looking for your input, whether you're going to swat or whether you're going to intercept, whatever the case may be, it's timing it perfectly. And therefore, it's going to open up that interception library and, basically select one, whether you pick it or whether you drop it, whatever the case may be. So people are finding a great amount of success with this. Now, there's other people that will tell you that it is all based on timing, and even if you do this, you still have to get the timing down right. To that point, I would say if you've played this game a lot, then you know one thing that happens periodically is when you're just hitting the catch button over and over and over, you can actually get multiple animations to register. You may try for an overhead catch and then immediately shift into a behind the back catch just because the game is looking in the library for what animations it's going to give you based on your user input. So I am one of the ones that will tell you you can probably get away with holding down a button and get this result just based on when the game is going to be looking for that input from the user. Now let's talk about why people use or lurk. I've done a massive series here, Definitive Detail, that shows why the defense in Madden is flawed, the things the defenses do wrong, and naturally gamers have to compensate for that. So one of the ways the gamers have compensated is by taking a player out of really position and running them around on the field in an unconventional way to try to, in my opinion, distract the other user by seeing this rapid movement that is not conventional to football. No coach would tell a player, go out and just run in the center of the field, hash mark to hash mark, and make something happen. So it is a user distraction in a way, but also allows them to cover an uncanny amount of ground and make plays on anything from a run to a wide receiver pass to a tight end, whatever the case may be. They are able to cover a lot of ground when doing this. So it is effective, but it's based on the game's inability to properly play defense. And that is the problem. When we look at competitive Madden, this lurking is almost praised as part of being, quote-unquote stick skills. And you cannot market the game to everyone. You can't market the game to a simulation football player and then put yourself up on a pedestal as having this game that allows you to get stick skills or have stick skills for user lurking. The two just don't go together because, as we've talked about, they're fundamentally far apart in terms of what happens on an actual football field. So there's this massive disconnect where I almost feel like EA wants to keep this in the game or doesn't want to create limitations, because if they do, number one, it would isolate just about everyone in the community. I mean, imagine if they almost put up like a box like the AFL has, where there's a box that the linebacker can't go out of and be given interception animations. But the fact of the matter is, if they did that, it would impact their competitive gamers. It would impact the way they promote these players as having skills or put these players on a pedestal for being good at Madden. And it would also really irritate some of the sim gamers like myself, because you can't limit what a player can do, really, just because of where they went on the field. But the fact of the matter is, you can't also be upset about someone for doing something that works. To that same point, we've had a very similar issue on the offensive side of the ball where quarterbacks can run back 10 yards past where they drop back and still find a good amount of success. So until they find a way to really deter people from doing this, and whether that's going to be with a ratings decrease or with animation selections that may not always come through with the results that they want, I don't think you're going to see an end to this. But I think at the end of the day, we need to have an understanding that the reason this is in the game is because the game is just not that good, and users have to do very unconventional things to account for the game not playing well. Love to know your thoughts on this, though. I appreciate you checking it out, and I'll be back very shortly with more commentary.